So, where do we begin?
Why don't you live your life? Yeah, and I'll go live mine.
So, where do we begin? I guess we can start with my introduction. Welcome to the Meraki Life Podcast. This is your host, Amber, and I am back. I'm back. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? I think I did that in the last episode too, because I was gone for like a year. But with this time, I think, well, this is the longest that I've been going away from the podcast. If you follow me on Instagram or if you see me around town, I've been here. I've been going through a lot, and we're going to get to that later. But I think it has been like 3 years since I have released a podcast episode. And it does not seem like that. I will say that, it does not seem that like it has been that long, but it has. So I want to start with kind of like an update on the podcast in general. I know. Okay, so if you're listening to the audio version, you're unaware that I am now on YouTube. Yay! Because a lot of people have been asking for me to do YouTube, or is my podcast on YouTube, and it was not. It was just strictly audio, but I'm now on YouTube. So if you would like to watch me on YouTube, or if you would like to just listen, it does not matter. It's still fine. You can still find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. You can still find me there, and now you can watch me on YouTube. So I don't know if this is going to be my setup. I'm not sure. I guess I can let you guys vote. I know when I have guests, it may not be the same setup, which is fine. I mean, we'll see. I have some ideas that I want to play around with now coming back to my podcast. So I guess you can say the rebranding. I think that was anyway, with the rebranding of the podcast, I think I'm going to do things a little different. I'll just have some ideas. So we'll see. We'll play around with it, and whatever works best, works best. But yes, I am back. I am rebranding this podcast again. I think that rebranding is it's best, especially if you're growing and changing, which is something that we all should be doing. When I first started this podcast, I started with one of my best friends, and we had an idea of how we wanted things to go, but it eventually changed to a solo podcast because she couldn't do it anymore. And then when it was just me, I had guests on and things like that, and I still kind of didn't know the direction that I wanted my podcast to go in. And so with everything that has been going on within my life, I feel like I finally have some direction of what I want to do and how I want to do it. So yes, I guess this is a update video for the podcast of welcome back, and life update, I guess. so a lot has changed. Within the past 3 years, but a lot has changed just in the past year. And it has caused me to experience a lot, learn a lot, and grow a lot. So I feel like I have a whole lot to say. And I'm refocusing myself because I know that I can get like easily distracted. If you know me, I can. I'm a huge overthinker. And I don't know what you would really call it, but what is it? Phobo or something? Fear of being left out? Something like that. I think people say... I wouldn't say it's like a fear of being left out, but I feel like if something is going on, I want to go. Like, I'm all about like having a good time, but at the same time, I'm like real introverted. You know, I'm both. I'm a Gemini. I mean, come on. So sometimes I want to go out and have a good time, and then sometimes I want to be at home and just chill. So when you tend to go out and do a lot of things, your time is being used up. And if you don't have time to sit down and do things like a podcast, create content, things like that I actually want to do, you're just going out and drinking, forgetting to vlog or forgetting to record, stuff like that. And it's like, what are you really doing with your life, you know? And if I have a goal or a dream or something that I really want to do, it's like, how are you going to get that done if you're like always going out and having a good time, you know? So I'm refocusing, and you know, I'm bringing you guys with me on this journey to refocus, to be consistent. I need accountability partners. So I know a lot of people listen to my podcast because you've told me, which I did not know. That is like a little humble flex, because I mean, I didn't know so many people were like invested in listening to my podcast. I really didn't. And then when I stopped making episodes, everybody was like, when is the next podcast episode? When are you putting out? Are you on YouTube? I'm like, I didn't even know you listen. So I feel like the place that I am in my life, even if I only had one person to listen to my podcast, I would still put it out. And the reason being is because I feel like this is really for me. And I also feel like it's for my kids. I also feel like it's for my family. I want to document things. You know, I want to talk. I feel like I am so filled with so much knowledge and wisdom, and I give it on a daily to friends and family. You know, people come to me and ask me for, you know, my opinion on things, and just, you know, advice, encouragement. I'm an open book. I'm non-judgmental. So I feel like I have a lot to say, and I want to put it out for whoever is willing to watch. If it's nobody, then it's nobody, but I'm still going to put it out. Or listen. So with that being said, I am back. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be here, and I guess let you guys know everything that I've learned. And yeah, so I'm not gonna have this episode be too long, just because of the simple fact I'm just getting back, and I just kind of want this to be like a little update. So if you do see some of the things dealing with the podcast is like slowly changing, like, you know, the picture or the Instagram page or the YouTube page, if you see things changing, just, I'm rebranding. But I wanted to say, so my birthday just passed June 2nd, which was not this past Monday, but the Monday before last. And right before my birthday. So the weekend before that Monday, I was like severely depressed. Like bad. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong? Because normally when my birthday comes around, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Like shopping, buying all kind of clothes, you know, just real excited. And a part of me was just like, I just want to crawl in bed and not do anything and just cry and just not talk to anyone. And I could not understand why I felt like this, right? So long story short, even throughout like my birthday, when my birthday got here, I was still depressed. And you know, there's a lot of things that I basically had to realize they were triggers. Like they were little seeds inside of me that became triggers when I knew my birthday was coming around. And one of them was the podcast. Like I really wanted to launch my podcast, the rebranding of my podcast on my birthday. You know, I had asked a few people for some favors. I'm not going to say any names. You know, I still have love for you. But I asked a few people for favors to help with rebranding my podcast. And, you know, as you can tell, it did not go through. So sometimes you have to realize that things are not going to always go your way and that you cannot control everything, let alone control people. And I kind of felt like let down. I don't like to force people, and I really don't like to ask for help. So if I ask for something, it's like I really had to push myself to do it. But long story short, they didn't come through, and I'm still kind of waiting, but I don't want to ask again. So I feel like I'm just going to figure out a way to do it myself. So that's why I said, like, if you start seeing things like slowly changing, it's because basically I'm rebranding by myself and doing things to up the production of my podcast. But you know, I just had to realize that things don't happen the way that we want it to happen. You know, it just does not. And I have to lose control and just let things be. I've always been the type of person to want to control things. And when I went to therapy last year, I had to realize, like, I am trying to control everything in my life. You know, and that's a trauma response. But we can get into that in another episode. But so like I was just severely depressed because there was a lot of things that I wanted to do and accomplish by the time I turned 33. I'm 33, you guys. Yay! Double digits. So yeah, I was severely depressed, but you know, I got myself out of the funk, and I'm at this point now where I used to like want to make sure that like all of my content and everything was like super perfect. It had to be pristine. It has to be this way before I can put it out. And I'm now at the place that's like, girl, just post it. Just put it out. You know, stop overthinking. Just let it go. Send it on out into the universe. And so that's what I'm doing now. But like I said, I'm going to slowly rebrand. But I was severely depressed because of a lot of different things. I wanted certain things in my life by 33. I wanted to be in certain places by 33. and I put a time stamp on myself. You know, so I had to like give myself grace and like, girl, just let go. You know, just breathe. So with that being said, I'm still learning, but I have learned so much. Another life update, which a lot of you know, but last year in January of 2024, I experienced a house fire. Very traumatic, very hard, very emotional, very just a time in my life that another thing that I could not control. Like, I felt helpless. It was nothing I can do. I had nothing but the clothes that were on my back. And that whole year put me in some uncomfortable places, taught me so many lessons. I'll probably do like a story time on my house fire, you know, that whole situation. But because of that, I've grown into the woman that I am now. Because of a lot of things, like within these last few years have really pushed my growth. I will say that, like dealing with love and heartache, dealing with the house fire, you know, dealing with just therapy and like coming to realization about a lot of things, dealing with grief and death in the family. Like, life has been lifing, okay? But it's pushed me to come back to my podcast. It's pushed me to do more content. It's pushed me to do what I love, you know. So, I just want to say that I love you guys. I love everybody who's ever supported me. I do want you guys to hold me accountable, because I can get, what's the word? What is the word? Maybe procrastinate. I don't know. Y'all know what it is, but I'm not consistent. I'll say that. And I really, 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 really want to be consistent with this podcast. This is my baby. You know, I worked so hard for a lot of things dealing with this podcast, and I want to continue to grow and continue to be disciplined, not procrastinate, and be consistent. So hold me accountable. So if you see me out and I'm not even going to speak like that I have not posted an episode. But if you see me out, just say, I'm waiting on that next episode. You know, if you want to be a guest, that's another thing. I did a poll on my Instagram asking different people, like, would you want to come on the podcast? Or would you like to talk about things like that? A lot of you claim you want to come on the podcast, claim you want to talk about certain things. And when y'all get on this podcast, all of a sudden I have to cut this out. You don't want that in there. Oops, you shouldn't have said this. Like, it is live. It's flowing. It's recording. It's going. You know, if you don't want to talk about something, you don't have to be like camera shy or mic shy. Just say, I don't want to talk about that. We're going to leave that alone. Next subject, I plead the fifth. I mean, whatever. Just say it, you know. Just say it. But, you know, y'all talk a lot about how y'all want to be on this podcast. And then the minute it comes down to trying to schedule a day for you to come and talk to me, you know, you're a ghost. So if you're serious and you really want to come on this podcast and have like some really nice conversations, some in-depth conversations, you want to have some fun conversations, like I'm with all the okay, like let's make some creative and memorable moments. Okay? But yeah, so going forward, you're going to see a lot more of me. You're going to hear a lot more of me. And I'm very excited. I'm happy to be back. I'm back. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this episode. So when I post this, I am going to leave this on my Instagram as well. And I would like to know who would like to come on the podcast and actually have a conversation, actually talk. Let's discuss some things. And yeah, I'm just excited to be back. And if you're new here, welcome. I think on the next episode I'll go back to the retreat moment of the week and things like that. But yeah. Welcome back, guys. Like, come on in. I'm excited. But until next time, thanks for coming and chit-chatting with me. I love you guys. Be safe. Be cool. Be you. Stay true to yourself. You can't control everything. Sometimes you just have to let things be. And I love you guys. Bye.